Welcome to this course ME763 Robot Manipulators, Dynamics and Control. So, this um, particular uh, talk, let us not call it a lecture, is actually not a proper lecture of the course. Through this particular video, I am just introducing you to the course. Okay, and um, I think now you can see my screen, and we will obviously conduct this course through this hello portal, hello.iitk.ac.in Mukit portal, and um, in this portal, as you reach the page of the course, you can see that this course is taught by me, Dr. Bhaskar Das Gupta, and my colleague, Dr. Vishak Bhattacharya. Okay, so you will do this access course and get this uh, interface, right? Now, I take you to this particular link, resources. Here, at the present, there is only one resource, and that is the course plan. And this particular session, I am giving only to introduce this course plan. Okay. And after this, the lectures I will put in the form of proper lectures. Okay. So um, this current session you can call as lecture 0 in a way. Okay. So I need to increase the size of this, otherwise you will not be able to read properly with me. Yes, yes, yes. So um, this is the number of the course, this is the name of the course, and there are two TAs whom you will know in due course. These are the typical books of the for this course. Um, One book is by Craig, which is the basic textbook, Introduction to Robotics, and then this book by Schilling is Fundamentals of Robotics. This I needed to include because the segment of robot motion planning is not in Craig. So for that you can consult the book by Schilling. There are other books also which have that topic. For example, the book by Murray, Lee, and Sastry that has a very good chapter on motion planning. Then there are dedicated books on motion planning, but that will be too much for this course because in this course motion planning is only a segment. Then there is a book by Yoshihiko Nakamura called Redundancy and Optimization. This is for the segment of redundant manipulators. Then there is a book by Joseph Duffy that is Statics and Kinematics with Application to Robotics. This is a very thin book. This book is important for the segment on parallel robots. Beyond that, um, I will refer you sometimes to some classic papers and these class notes, of course. Okay. So since this is a little advanced level course, this is actually a second course on robotics. So in this, the importance of research papers also is significant. Now, typically, we will give pre-recorded lectures online, and we'll need to find out a time for discussion. However, the Mookit portal in which we are conducting the course, that itself has a very good, um, you know, platform for discussion. So, uh, uh, yes, yes. So if you see the main page of it, what happened? This. Yes. So here you see forums. So in forums, you can actually um, do a lot of discussion. Yeah, I mean, not within a small time span of 1 hour, but continuously, the way you do in WhatsApp groups. You write something and then somebody else writes something, then over that I write something, then you write something, and so on. It is a continuous kind of discussion. So that in the forums, for that purpose, the forums are very useful. They have a lot of utility and they are very efficient. So in that, not only text, you can actually put the links of documents and video small talk, and in fact in that there is a way to record your small speech also. So over voice you can ask questions or make a clarification to somebody else's questions and so on. So this we will utilize, and beyond that we may keep a, particular hour for um, live discussion. Now the timetable gives us, as usual, two 275 minutes slots, Monday and Wednesday 5:15 to 6:30. We may use one of them. Okay, so and that also not completely. So 5:15 to 6:30. Out of that, for example, suppose we use part of it, or alternatively we can work out a different time is very nice 1 hour slot which is um, free for all. Okay, so this discussion hour slot we will discuss over the forum and fix. So I will initiate that, and you also can initiate forums to put up your questions and discussion points. Okay, so this discussion hour we will decide slowly over a few days. Now, these are the topics in the course. So we have divided the subject matter into three parts. So I am calling them first one third, second one third, and final one third. So it has been decided that the first segment and the third segment I will cover, and Professor Bhattacharya will cover the second part, sandwiched between um, two parts of mime. Okay, so each of the three parts can be roughly considered as one third, and that is why we will give them 30% credit, 30% credit, and 30% credit. So that doesn't add up to 90, that doesn't add up to 100% because 10% is reserved for a term paper, which you will select from wherever you select, it doesn't matter. Okay, so term paper, you might select some topic of term paper which completely falls in this segment or completely falls in this segment or this segment, or it may overflow across segments, doesn't matter. So whatever it is, that will have 10% credit, and the remaining 90% will be divided into three parts like this. And for this first one third, which will be safely finished well before midsem exam, uh, this 30% will be divided as 15% for midsem and 15% for continuous evaluation. Okay, and similarly for the third segment, Professor Bhattacharya will take over from me well before the midsem exam and give me back the control well after the midsem exam. Okay, so the middle 4 weeks roughly will be in his hands. So his 30% will go 10% in the MS midsem, 10% in the endsem, and the remaining 10% before midsem and after midsem will be in continuous evaluations. Now he will tell you what he intends to do with this continuous evaluation segment, whether he is going to give you quizzes or assignments or some other evaluation methodology. I will tell you my segment. Okay, so these are the topics. Robot kinematics is actually not much of a topic in this course, but it has to be covered. The reason is that this is considered the second level of course in robotics, and robot kinematics has been actually covered in the first level course. So those who come to take this present course, ME763, are supposed to know robot kinematics already. Okay. And a little bit of control also, but that control part is totally covered here again. In the 762, the first level course, robot control is covered only a little. Okay. So robot kinematics you are actually supposed to know. But what happens is that some people take this course without having taken the first course earlier. Okay. So even though you are supposed to know, some of you don't know to begin with. And even those who know because they have done ME762 or have taken a robotics course earlier from somewhere else during undergraduate days, yeah, even those who know may have gaps in their understanding. I mean, may have gaps to begin with, or may have gaps because of having forgotten part of it. So, in any case, we need to quickly review it. So, this robot kinematics actually should have been a quick review of robot kinematics. Okay. Now, in a normal semester, what we do, we cover the robot kinematics in extremely fast pace, and now and then keep on telling students that these things actually are like this, like this, like this, and you should know, and you figure out, you read these chapters quickly and get over this. This is how we normally do in the ordinary semesters. But since this is online semester, and um, you are anyway going to study, even if you do that quick review thing over a limited period of time, you were supposed to study a lot if you did not have the background. Okay. So that larger study in early weeks of the semester, this time what we will do is that I'm going to upload the same lectures which were given in the first course, and with a higher concentration of lecture material for the kinematics part, which you are actually supposed to know. So whether you have gone through that earlier or not, I suggest that you quickly go through that again. And if you have gone through that earlier, then it will be faster and easier for you. So this otherwise in an ordinary semester would have taken something like 3 4 lectures, because we would do that at an express speed. But in this case, it turns out to be 6 to 8 lectures as its normal pace. Okay. And then robot dynamics. This is solid material for this course. And here, proper 4 to 6 lectures will be really, in its proper place. So this much will be in the first one third, and in the second one third, it is robot control. I and Professor Bhattacharya have roughly discussed a little breakdown into different parts of it. In fact, the textbook of Craig itself will show you some kind of breakdown of that, because in Craig, the topic of robot control is covered in 3 chapters. So that itself gives you a semblance of a breakdown. But I have not tried to show you a breakdown here, because I felt that in his time he will do it in his own way. I mean, how you break a subject into different segments is the prerogative of the person who does the exposition. Now, in the final one third, which again I will cover, it is all something which is real advanced stuff. Okay. So one is robot motion planning, which will be 3 to 5 lectures, and then the topic of redundancy, which is 3 to 5 lectures, and then parallel robots, which is 4 to 6 lectures. Now, I find in a way this course is in a way tailor-made for me, because the topics which are beyond textbook to an extent, uh, all these three topics happen to be areas in which over last 3 decades I uh, happen to make some research contributions also. Now, it is not those research contributions which are the of prime importance in the course, but the point is that in order to make any kind of research contribution in a field, you need to appreciate the field very well, which makes this course quite natural for me to teach, particularly these segments. Okay, so these are the subject matters. Okay, topics. Now, this credit distribution that we discussed above, that is 30% in this segment, 15-15, again 30% in this segment, 10-10-10, and so on. You understand that this credit distribution is rough because of the technical interplay of different segments. For example, there is a question in NSEM which is on robot control. Okay. Now, in order to control a robot, a little bit of kinematics and dynamics will obviously appear. Otherwise, what is the thing that you are controlling? Okay. So, like that, there is interplay between segments. So that is why this credit distribution, this nominal distribution, is actually only a ballpark kind of estimate. Now, for the first one third at least, and perhaps for the third one third also, uh, I make note here a few important points which I will be following. Okay, in the middle chunk um, covered by Professor Bhattacharya, it might be somewhat different. So he will then discuss. Okay, so I have already pointed out the utility of the discussion forum in the MOOCIT platform. So doubt clearance and discussion forum. This doubt clearance will be primarily done in the discussion forum and not necessarily by me all the time. So in MOOCIT portal itself, we will do it most of the time. And therefore, do not send separate emails on it. Okay. So even in normal semesters, I typically try to discourage students from sending confusion emails to me, or even ask me questions outside the class in the corridor, because those confusions or subject matter related questions are typically questions in which the rest of the class also has an interest. Okay, so it would be much better, academically much more sensible, if you ask those questions in the class, so that other students can also hear the answers. Indeed, other students can clarify your question. Okay, and that is the best kind of academic discourse that can take place. So if you want to ask any question, you fire those questions in the discussion forum itself. Okay, as long as the portal works. Last semester the portal worked beautifully. Now, if one student opens a topic in the forum, I will follow this rule that first 2 hours I'll not answer that. Typically, I will not get into the thing. Okay, so first 2 hours will be exclusively for other students to clarify, comment, or counter. Okay, so somebody tries to answer that question. Somebody else says, no, 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 that is not the correct answer. Because of this, I'll tell you the correct answer, and he will tell you the correct answer. And then somebody else says, yes, this is the correct answer, but not completely correct, because this segment is not really right. I'm supplying this. Do that. Okay, that's learning. So first 2 hours, it is among yourselves. So first 2 hours will be exclusively for other students to clarify, comment, and counter, and continue discussion back and forth, whichever way it is, freestyle. Okay. Instructors and TAs will be silent during these 2 hours. After those 2 hours, next 2 hours will be open to TAs as well as students. Students can continue to comment on that. Now, the next 2 hours, TAs also can clarify things. After these 2 plus 2, 4 hours are gone, then only instructor comes into play. Okay. So instructor will enter after that when the topic will be free for all. Instructor, TAs, students, everybody. Okay. If the problem is, if the question is not killed by him, typically it happens that within the first few hours the question gets killed because somebody else gives the answer, complete answer. So the expectation is that most doubts, most questions will be resolved at the students level and then at the TAs level only. And the instructor, I mean, it typically may get resolved to the extent that everybody understands that it has been resolved. And if there is any modicum of doubt left, then the instructor enters into the picture and finally says that yes, that fellow told the right thing and this fellow was wrong because of this reason, and this is the thing, this is the solution, this answer is correct. So instructor's job will be mostly limited to that. In some tricky issues, it may happen that the students could not answer the question, then hopefully the instructor supplies the correct answer or correct resolution, final resolution. Okay, so this is the plan. And I suggest that you operate with this plan, and I encourage you to make this discourse really lively and vibrant. Okay. And over and above this discussion forum, in which we can hopefully resolve all issues, we may have a discussion meeting on Zoom once a week that may handle leftover issues of the week and perhaps take advantage, if there is any advantage, of actual conversation. Okay. However, it will be important that in those Zoom meetings, discussion hours, when you come with some material in hand. It should not happen that everybody comes there to listen to others. Okay, then who will speak? Because that meeting is something which is not a normal class. I also don't come with material to talk on. I come to respond. If there is nothing to respond, then we sit together for 1 hour and then go home. I mean, that's not a great idea, right? Now, one more thing. Students typically ask for assignments in courses. Now, this is something which is very confusing to me because when I was a student, I never welcomed assignment. Okay, if the teacher asks to do something, I used to do it, but um, expecting the teacher to ask me to do something and rather asking him to give me to do something were things like, in Hindi you have that proverb, "A bail mujhe maar." So I used to feel it like that. Now, if I, as instructor, give you some assignments and you do it like a good, genuine student, I can understand that. But I'm not giving you anything. You come and ask me, "Sir, will you not give some assignments? Sir, why don't you give some assignments?" Uh, this actually makes me nervous. Okay, because why you want trouble? This is the thing. Now you say that because if there are assignments, then we'll learn better. Well, so if you seek assignment, then you don't need an instructor, you don't need a teacher to tell you to do this because every textbook has a collection of problems at the end of every chapter. Okay, so if I teach the subject matter, if I conduct the exposition of the subject matter, then based on that and based on the text written in the chapter of the book, you can tackle the problems at the end of the chapter. Okay, so why do you want the instructor to give you assignments? This is one thing. Now, what beats me more is that on one side, students ask for assignments, and when I give them assignments, I find many students coming back and telling me why they could not do the assignment, and why the assignments are too much, why it is an oppressive thing that I'm giving so much assignments, and that becomes a little troublesome. So what I suggest is, I have told you the textbooks. In the lectures, I will cover some subject matter of it. And as you go through the textbook for those subject matter, you will find the corresponding problems at the end of the chapter. I encourage you to solve some problems of those, and in the forum, when we open forums for discussion, okay, in that I encourage you to post some of the problems and their solutions that you have made, asking whether that solution is correct, whether your interpretation of the problem has been correct, whether the question set by the author of the book has been correct. Okay, so wherever you have confusions, wherever you have, or simply to show off that you are so great that you could crack that problem, okay, put up those things there. Don't say that I am showing off. You nicely and very politely say that this is how I am solving. Is it all right? Okay, so make some story out of it, and that will give you the much needed, uh, you know, feedback that you are going on the right path, and that will give so many others the problems on the face of it and the solutions. Okay, so this, with these things, let us make the forum a lively session, a discussion platform, and through which all of us will learn a few things, rather than working for an oppressive environment in which I give you weekly seven problems to do, and you do that, and then I say that why you did not do it correctly, and then you say, sir, you are giving too many assignments. Let us not get into that. However, what I have been discussing till now is learning. There is a little bit of evaluation part of it. For the evaluation part of it, I will expect submissions from you of assignments, not this kind of assignments that I give you a problem set kind of thing. I'll tell you what, weekly. So this, to fill this continuous evaluation segment, because we need it. Otherwise, um, if we leave you just with lectures all the time without any feedback on how you are doing for more than a month, then it may happen that it becomes a little boring. And after reaching the midsem, you suddenly realize that you are not in a very good shape. And I realized that after the midsem. Okay, so that may be disastrous. So we'll need some continuous evaluation. Okay, so for that, every week we will expect one submission from you, and for that, in the name of assignment, I will put something. Typically, for every week, you will need to do only one problem. Okay, and the way this semester I have decided on the nature of the assignments, at least in my part, this one third and this one third, each of you will end up doing a different problem. Okay, partly of your choice, though I will put up a text matter for the assignment. So when the first assignment comes, you will see that. Now, what about the current first week of lectures? So for that, we will go to this quick review of robot kinematics. And after this session, today or early tomorrow, I will quickly upload 3 or 4 lectures in the portal, and that will be the first week of material. And it will be expected that you quickly go through them and grasp that background. Okay, if you already grasped it earlier during your earlier period in some other college, in some course, in some robotics course, or last semester perhaps in ME762, then re-grasp that. Okay, and then do one weekly assignment, whatever comes there. Okay, you will see the structure of it. Okay, so at this point I stop here, and after this we will have two fronts to be opened. One is in the forum, and the other is the set of lectures for the first week. Thank you.